smile because you'll be like on for a little bit until I get to region and everything.
Check, check. Let's get an audio check.
Testing. Lake County Corndogs.
All right.
All right. Well, live.
It's the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. Fair is between two of the league's top teams, the two teams that met in the championship series. Here in the Northern League.
Runs deep between us and like that. The still completely been 100%. The pain is here, so make a statement. Oilmen are pretty similar, as hot as the Corndogs.
Yeah. Corndogs team that you've had a chance to see over the course of the year. What's impressive about them so far?
So far, I think it's been the situational hitting for the Corndogs and being able to put up runs when there's two outs already on the board. And sometimes it has been hard for them to really string things together to some of the big leads that were last year. But this season, a guy like Hilbrick is coming at the point to win them ball games.
Take a timeout. Our show continues next. I'll get you the starting line. Get you set for the game after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Did you know?
They decorate over 210,000 cakes a year.
Did you know?
Their butcher will cut your meat your way.
Did you know?
They have trained floral designers in store.
Did you know?
They will make your wedding cake.
Did you know?
They have a variety of deli bakeable entrees.
Did you know?
Their online app has coupons and so much more. Who does that?
Strack and Van Til. Now you know.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here at Oil City Stadium, the lineup cards are being exchanged. The ground rules are being discussed. That can only mean one thing. It is time for me to give you the starting lineups for today's game, starting with the visitors from Lake County. Leading off and playing second base is Kevin Hall. Hall leading off at second base. Batting second is center fielder Gavin Terry. It's Terry hitting second and playing center. Batting third is Ray Hilbrick. Hilbrick in right. Batting cleanup and getting the start at first base, Hayden Matalich. Matalich will bat cleanup for the County Corndogs hitting fifth, getting behind Stefanovic, batting sixth. And Jones third, and eighth is field, and round out the as the designated that starting pitcher for Lake County, Dylan Matusak on the mound for the Corndogs. Those are the Corndogs. Now we'll take a look at the Oilmen starting lineup. Matusak will be opposing. Leading off and playing is Amir right and playing right field. Batting is second base Aiden Comey. Second base. Batting cleanup is Randy Seymour. Seymour playing short. Batting fifth and playing left field Brendan O'Connor. O'Connor hitting fifth. Batting sixth is third baseman Logan Anderson. Batting seventh is designated hitter Kevin Denty. Denty hitting seventh. Batting eighth is first baseman Brennan Phillips. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Oilmen and starting behind the plate, Emmanuel Scott. All that in back of Northwest Indiana right-hander Brandon Locks. It's time for the anthem. Let's listen into the anthem live. There you have the playing of our national anthem. Well, it's Locks against Matusak. It's the Oilmen against the Corndogs. And it's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Back at Oil City Stadium, we have baseball coming up here. With the decisions on the base paths. We are just about set for baseball. Final throw goes down to second base, and one final piece of business to take care of. That's the game time temperature, as it was pretty chilly by the end of the ball game last night. Tonight it is 63 degrees and a little bit of a chill off that lake here in Whiting. It is sunny and it is dry, which is always the most important factor in baseball here at Oil City Stadium. First pitch from Brandon Locks is going to come at right as the clock hits 7:11, and it'll be delivered to leadoff man Kevin Hall. First pitch is taken outside for ball one. We are underway, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Brandon Locks making his first start of the season, but he has appeared out of the Oilmen bullpen. 1-0 on Hall. Here he comes back, and the next offering is swung on and fouled. The Corndogs have had success, it seems, Noel, with balance. They've had some pretty good pitching, not the best pitching in the league, but top couple, second in terms of ERA, behind only the Vikings. And they've been second behind the Oilmen in most of the offensive numbers. So they've had good balance in terms of pitching it pretty well and hitting pretty well this year. Here comes the 1-1 to Hall, swinging a foul out of play left side.
Yeah, and manager Justin Heisman, he chalks that up currently to a little bit of rust on a lot of these guys, and just the fact that they're still waiting on some key members to come in and make a difference for them, and we'll see when they come in. But for now, these guys have been getting the jobs done, and you can say what you want about both sides of the ball. They're putting up W's.
Here's the 1-2, swinging a tapper foul in the count 1-2. How would you compare this year's Corndog team to the one that won the championship a year ago?
I would say overall, the Corndogs have hitters that can really put the ball in play 1 through 9. Last season, really, it was only 1 through 4 overall.
1-2, swing and a miss, a tip into the mitt of the catcher Scott, and that's the first out of this opening inning. Hall is out on strikes. Locke starts the day with a punch out.
Yeah, Hall still trying to work his way up into a completely qualifying batting average. But for the Corndogs right now in his 20 at-bats, he's batting .400. So he's come in from Munster High School and made a pretty big difference so far.
There's Gavin Terry, who's hitting .300 himself, and the first pitch to him is taken for a strike on the outside portion of the count, no balls. And 1 strike on the center fielder, Gavin Terry. Locks 4 1/3 innings on the season, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. He has not allowed a run. Here's the 0-1. It's taken for a strike on the outer half, and the count 0-2. In fact, he has not allowed a hit yet this season. So I think the key for Locks is when he puts the ball over the plate, he's pretty tough to hit against, and the key has always been as long as he has that good control, not too many guys are going to hit him hard. This is low and in for a ball, and it's 1-2.
Especially against a guy like Gavin Terry. You saw it right there. He shows his patience, takes the first 2 right away, and that was a big problem the Corndogs had yesterday against the Southland Vikings. They were watching too many balls just go right past them. So we'll see if they change up their approach today, maybe handle things a bit more aggressively.
Here comes the 1-2. It's taken for strike 3 call. Caught looking is Terry for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the day for Oilman righty Brandon Locks.
Well, I mean, this is about as perfect of a start as you can ask for Locks. Just an absolute, dealer on the mound. But now he faces the Northern League Player of the Week, first of this season, Ray Hilbrick. And, Locks 0 hits so far in the season. That might change in this at-bat right here.
4 home runs and 13 RBIs already for Hilbrick, who's hitting over .400 and pitch low for a ball. And a lot of the damage he's done came in those 3 games against the Oilmen to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, that home run that he hit over the right field wall to tie the game 11-11 in the 3rd game of the series was one of the most clutch performances I've seen from a Corndog, period, so far this season and this past season. So we'll see how long he lasts on this team. He's got pro ball hopes, but as long as he's here, he's going to be a great player.
Here's the 1-0. This is swinging a ground ball to the right side. It's picked up by Comia, slow roller, and he throws out Hilbrick for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3 go the Corndogs in the first. After a half, it's Lake County nothing, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Common for back patients to have a lot of questions, but at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, we ask a lot of questions too. We want to know about their jobs, their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who we are. For us, surgery is not the first priority. Finding the least invasive option to give you your life back is.
For the first time in 30 years, Coors Light has an ad in the big game.
Actually, this is a Miller Lite commercial.
Mountain Cold Refreshment.
It's Miller time! Great taste. Let's fill it. Cold as the Rockies. Coors commercial. Miller commercial.
Actually, it's a Blue Moon commercial.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions. And the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
And back we are as we take it to the last of the first inning. Good to have you along on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Brandon Vickery, Noel Ferry, always a pleasure. As beautiful night here at beautiful Oil City Stadium. First Oil City Stadium matchup between these two teams this season, but the teams faced off 3 times to open the year out in Crown Point, and Lake County has really had their way with the Oilmen, Noel, not only this season winning all 3, but the Corndogs have won 13 of the 16 all-time matchups, including 9 straight going back to mid-June of last year.
Yeah, and, it was a little bit of deja vu this year with the home opening season for the series, that is, for the Corndogs, sweeping the Oilmen just like last season. But honestly, especially in that third game of the series, there haven't been too many times this season the Corndogs have looked 100% in control of a game at all points. The defense has been a little sloppy here and there, and we'll see now with Dylan Matusak on the mound for the Corndogs, his first start this season and last season ever, usually a closer for Lake County, but he's ready to work his way up and prove his worth here.
Yeah, let's unpack that a little more here as we move along. Matusak moving into more of a starting type role. And you talked about it a year ago. He was a big part of this Corndog pitching staff, all in relief, 17 games, a sparkling 140 earned run average, part of a just outstanding pitching team a year ago in the champion Corndogs. The sign outside to Chris Baker. He went 1-1, but had 5 saves, 25 2/3 innings of work. He struck out 41 and walked 19. Here's the 1-0 taken for a strike, and the count is 1-1. But interesting that Justin Heisman moves him into the starting role here tonight.
Yeah, of all the guys that the Corndogs have on their lineup to be starters, Matusak is one that I was surprised by.
The 1-1 is a called strike, and the count is 1-2. This season, 5 innings all in relief.
Yeah, and really my surprise comes from the fact that the Corndogs have never seen Matusak throw more than 2 or 3 innings here or there. We'll see how his arm holds up.
Off-speed high for a ball. Count evens at 2-2.
Especially considering the velocity he goes with. I mean, he's got about a 12-6 curveball that he likes to throw that when he's on, it's almost unhittable. So, consistently throwing strikes today, we'll see if he can do it.
2-2 is cracked into center. This is going to be a base hit. Chris Baker sent it back at Matusak, and it turns into a lead single here in the opening inning. Baker is aboard, and that'll bring up Amir Wright.
Baker continuing a streak of dominance. The Corndogs are all too familiar with him from this past season.
Yeah, Baker, a longtime member of the Oilmen. He dates all the way back to 2016 with the Oilmen. He played in some of those early days under Adam Enright, 16, 17, 18. This is outside for a ball. And then he was away for a few years, and then Adam Enright returned as manager after a hiatus last year, and Chris Baker came back with him, and he has been on the team. Here comes the 1-0, a ground ball to the right side. It's going to be navigating the tricky bounce and then hesitating and throwing to first just in time. Boy, he had enough time to recover and get right there. Hall navigated a high bounce, looked at second, realized it was going to be tough to get Baker at second base, collected himself, and barely did throw out right on an unusual-looking 4-3 putout.
Yeah, Hall has done that a couple times this season. He's really eager to, prove for his team that he's a great infielder and go for the double play, but you just got to get those easy outs.
It's taken high for a ball by Comia, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Comia hitting .321. This is kind of the A lineup today for the Oilmen. Boy, up and down this lineup, it is a pretty good starting 9 for Adam Enright's team. And that is no coincidence that it comes against this Corndogs team. This is taken low for a ball. He was pretty open when we talked to him after the game about the fact that this date has been circled on the calendar for this week. And, of course, in the summer, you're going to get everyone playing time. But tonight is not the night that you're getting some of the other guys playing time. Here's the 2-0. Ground ball toward third. He looks the runner back, and the throw across the diamond is in time. Comia is out as Jones tosses to Matalich for the second out of the first inning.
Corndogs are happy to have Jones back in at third, as they had a little bit of inconsistencies these past few games, getting guys who third base is their natural position, and it came back to bite them. Corndogs putting up more errors than they're used to in these past few games.
Here's the pitch on the way to Seymour. It's taken for a strike in the count 0-1. Seymour batting with a man in scoring position here. A big spot early. Can the Oilmen drive in a 2-out run? It was a big debut last night for Seymour. He had a triple. He scored 3 times. He walked twice and went 2 for 2. He taps it foul. He moves up from the 5 to the 4 spot in the order as after he just finished his freshman year at Michigan State in the Big Ten Conference. Big Ten performer batting with 2 strikes here against Matusak. Here's the 2-strike offering. Instead, they'll look Baker back to second.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch any Michigan State matchups myself personally down at IU Bloomington, but a Big Ten great baseball conference with some of the better teams up there.
He froze him for strike 3. Seymour is out on strikes. He takes the third looking, and the Oilmen are done in the first. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We've played 1. Oilmen nothing, Corndogs nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Don't let pain knock you out of the ring. Our hand, wrist, and elbow experts are pioneers worldwide. You need us in your corner. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today.
Ordering groceries has never been easier. New online shopping at Strachan Van Til saves you time and money. In-store sale prices, pickup or delivery, online coupons, reward points, and more. Sign up at shop.strachanvantil.com today. It's Strachan Van Til, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. We take it to the second inning. It'll be Matalich to lead things off for the Corndogs. 4, 5, and 6 due against Brandon Locks. The 6'3", 180-pound right-hander worked a smooth 1-2-3 first inning, in which he struck out a pair and induced a soft ground ball to second base.
Against Matalich, this is a guy that gets a lot of loud first outs when he leads off innings. Just makes contact. Can't put it down, though.
First pitch to him is taken high and tight for ball 1. Locks, a big day for him. He announced his commitment as to where he's going to play this coming season earlier today via, here's the 1-0, swung on, lifted foul out of play right side via, of course, Twitter. That's where all these announcements take place. He's going to play at Florida Southern, so we congratulate Brandon Locks on committing. He had entered the transfer portal. He tweeted about that a couple of weeks back after previously playing at Eastern Kentucky. Here's the 1-1. It's outside for a ball, and the count is 2-1, and it's simply a big part of the college game is that in any sport in this day and age, many, if not most players will play at multiple schools over the course of their collegiate careers, and he'll head on to Florida Southern for this coming season. The 2-1 is bounced foul left side, and the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Matalich.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the beast nowadays. Guys just looking to get opportunities wherever they can. And plenty of Corndogs, switching around. Gavin Terry, one of the best examples, going from, I believe it was Western Illinois, that is, and went to South Suburban, and he saw his at-bats skyrocket.
Here comes the 2-2. This is swung on and lifted in the air in foul territory. It's over near the clubhouse and over the clubhouse, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Matalich. Locke's a native of Frankfort, Illinois, and a product of Brother Rice High School, a 2019 alum of Brother Rice. 2-2 the count here. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it bounces in there, and the count goes full at 3-2.
Brother Rice, one of those schools in Illinois, along with Mount Carmel, that produce a lot of Northern League players. A lot of guys come out of high school and come play for the Northern League. Colin Small is a name from the Corndogs last season that comes to mind. And not only do they get players in the Northern League, but just all over Northwest Indiana, guys want to go and play their baseball in Illinois.
Here comes the payoff pitch. It's taken inside for ball 4. So it's a leadoff walk to begin the second inning. Matulich battled in that count. Kind of ahead in the count was Locks initially. Matulich fouls away a few pitches and eventually works the base on balls.
And that's good to see from Matulich, who on the season, he's got a .333 on base percentage. And it's not really coming in the form of strikeouts for Matulich when he gets in trouble. It's just these flyouts that he can't seem to get rid of. But they're a good start to the day for him.
Here comes the first pitch to Rocco. It's taken high and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Rocco Stefanovic, who stands in for the first time today. The Lake County catcher will bat after the leadoff man is on. We mentioned Locke's hard to hit, but the one bugaboo that bites him once in a while is a few base on balls. Here, this one's ripped foul, and the count 1-1.
Stefanovic for the Corndog actually leads them in at-bats this season. Believe he's been in attendance in every game this season for the Corndogs and played, whether that's a catching or being a designated hitter, and that just comes with, being one of the 2 catchers the Corndogs have available right now.
1 ball, 1 strike on him. He was with the team for some of last season as well. The 1-1 is a strike. It's been a little bit of a bigger zone, but it's been consistent on both sides, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on him. See if Locks can put him away. He struck out a pair in the opening inning as part of a 1-2-3. A leadoff walk to Matulich a moment ago. Brandon set, and he is ready to deliver the 1-2. This is taken for strike 3 call. Out on strikes is Stefanovic for the first out of the second inning.
Yeah, that one hurts, especially coming after Terry watched one go past for strike 3 in the first inning. Corndogs got to start attacking soon here, especially for a team that's definitely coming to play today and look to grab their first victory against them this season.
Tyler Schultz will stand in next. And around first with 1 away. Here comes the first pitch. It's taken low for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Locks pitched against these Corndogs back on May the 25th, 2 1/3 innings. He did walk 4, but allowed no hits, struck out 3, and did not permit a run in that game out in Crown Point. Here comes the 1-0 to Tyler Schultz. It is taken for a strike, and the count evens at 1-1. This other outing was on May the 31st against the Panthers. 2 innings, struck out 1, all zeros. No walks issued and no hits permitted by Brandon Locks in that game against Indiana. Here's the 1-1. Taken for a strike on the outer portion of the count 1-2.
Definitely dealing with a pitcher's strike zone right now, and so both teams are going to have to adjust to that. Got to take the bat off your shoulder.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Tyler Schultz. Ken Davidson has given the pitchers the benefit of the doubt so far here tonight. Here comes the 1-2. This is taken low and outside for a ball, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Locks looks like he's got in his arsenal a pretty similar pitch to what Matusak goes to often, that curveball that just completely bottoms out right before it hits the plate. So we'll see if he can use that to fool the Corndogs.
Here's a 2-2. This is high and outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2. Locks going to a full count for the second time in this inning. He lost Matulich, who was walked after Locks had been ahead in the count. Let's see if he can win this battle with Tyler Schultz. Here comes Brandon's payoff pitch. It's taken for strike 3 call. 4 strikeouts for Brandon Locks, and 3 have been looking strikeouts for Corndog hitters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to keep saying it, but, at some point you got to bounce on it. And that was a pretty good disguised pitch there from Locks. I mean, if you're Schultz, you can't be too mad at him for holding off on that. But, it is what it is, and it's going to be called how it is. So you got to go.
Scoreless game in the second with 2 down. That brings up Shane Jones, who's hitting .423 and is the 7 hitter in the order. He may have chased one there, but he's trying to be aggressive with the way it's been called a little bit. And the count, no balls and 1 strike after a big healthy hack from Jones. Lead at first for Matalich. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken just low for a ball, 1-1. Tell you about Brandon Locke's tenure in the Northern League here when we have a chance. He's a guy that's been around this league multiple years. Here's this set and 1-1. This is low for a ball, blocked by the catcher Scott, and it trickles off to his right, but not far enough for Matalich to consider advancing from first.
Emmanuel Scott has been really impressive this year in his ability to keep the ball in front of him, make a lot of great catches, whether that be to his left, right, and above him. But a really solid defensive catcher the Oilmen have.
Here comes the 2-1. This is swung on and smashed to left. Very well hit, and it's going to get up against the wall on a bounce. Around second is Matalich. He's headed for third, and standing at second base with a 2-base hit is Jones. A 2-out double for Jones. Matalich goes first to third on the 2-bagger, which was tattooed. 1 hop off the wall and left. O'Connor heaves it back in, and now 2 outs and 2 in scoring position for the Corndogs.
Shane Jones come in his first year as a Corndog, and he is a great bat for them. Usually plays it, around that 4, 5, 6 spot in their rotation, but today he's hitting in the 7, and right there it pays off for him.
Adam Walters stands in next, hitting .308. He's driven in 3 on the year, trying to add to that number right here. Corndogs threatening in the second. Here's the first pitch to him. It's a strike, and the count 0-1. Big spot in this game right here. Corndogs threatening to strike first. Big pitch there to get ahead of Walters with that first offering. Here's the set. And Locke's 0-1 pitch. It's low and outside for a ball, and the count levels at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, I mentioned in our pregame show, Brandon, that the Corndogs have been really good at putting runs up on the board when there's already 2 outs. And right now they need some of that magic to strike first against this tough Oilman team.
1-1 on Walters. Lock set. Here's his 1-1 pitch. It bounces in there again, getting a workout here behind the plate is Scott. He has made back-to-back impressive stops to prevent a run in each instance. And it could be 2-0 if both of those balls got by the catcher Scott as they bounced in there the last 2 pitches.
Certainly. And for the Corndogs this season, when the offense isn't necessarily firing on all cylinders, it's been mistakes like that have allowed them to take leads and hold them. Plenty of wild pitches that they scored from third on.
2 balls and a strike on Walters. Here comes the 2-1. Swing and a miss, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Walters, good hitter for the Corndogs, but he's second on the team in strikeouts overall. So typically here for Locke, you're going to want to give Walters something to chase.
2-2 with 2 down. Here's the set from Locks and the break-even pitch. It's low for a ball. That's the one pitch that the home plate umpire Ken Davidson has not called tonight. Has been the one lower in the zone. It's been a little tight low, but everything else has been large. 3-2 on Walters. Here's the set from Locks and the payoff pitch. Here's a bouncing ball towards short. Seymour is there. He fields it on 2 bounces. His throw to first is going to be just in time to get a hustling Walters. And in the inning, no runs, 1 hit, and 2 left for Lake County in the second. After an inning and a half, it's the Corndogs nothing and the Oilmen nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Rise and shine.
All right. WJOB's Jim Deedlow starts your weekdays at 6 a.m. Jed in the region. And be sure to follow us on Facebook. WJOB, AM 1230 and 104.7 FM.
We don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce. as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
And we're back at Oil City Stadium, and we remind you to discover your rhythm at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6, I-80-94. Oilman Baseball tonight is sponsored by our friends at Hard Rock Casinos. We go to the last of the second inning. Brendan O'Connor will stand in. He has a robust .353 batting average. He has a homer, 7 RBIs to his name. He's also drawn 5 walks to put his his on-base percentage at an even .500 as he takes a strike in the count 0-1 as he faces Matusak to lead off the second. Matusak comes back 0-1. Here's the next pitch, and he's getting ahead just as Locks is on the other side. It's no balls and 2 strikes from Matusak.
Well, as far as I can tell, Brandon, one thing that these two teams have in common is they've got hitters all the way down their rotation.
This is high for a ball. Yeah, the depth of the lineups is evident. Although not a lot of depth in terms of bench depth for Lake County tonight. Justin Heisman telling me they've had a few guys banged up, a few guys unavailable. Here's the 1-2 swing and a miss, and O'Connor is out on strikes. But the guys that they have in there have put up some impressive numbers so far this season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is all it takes for Lake County to put up the W's. But, yeah, they're dealing with a couple injuries. They're dealing with guys still coming off of their season. So Manager Heisman is ready for them to come in and make a difference.
First pitch is a strike here on Logan Anderson. He's hitting .375, and he's in the 6th spot in the order. And Kevin Denty is on deck, and in a small sample size, Denty's hitting .375, and he's the 7-man in this order. Here's the 0-1. It's high for a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. And yeah, it's early, but I think when the Oilmen put their A lineup out there, I think these guys can sustain those numbers over the course of the year. And this A lineup has such depth that you'll see guys hitting over 300 that are in the lower third of the lineup. High for a ball, 2-1.
Tusak working pretty fast tonight. Obviously no pitch clock, but he's working these batters to his advantage.
Here's the 2-1. This is taken for a strike. So actually, even though there's no pitch clock visible, Mike Clay, the base umpire, is keeping track of the pitch clock. And if the pitcher indeed takes too long, he would call a violation and call an automatic ball. Here comes the 2-2 to Anderson. This is swung on and hit in the air, shallow right. Hilbrick is there, battling the sun. He's got it for the second out of the inning. 2 up, 2 down for the Oilmen to begin the last of the second.
Yeah, on that one, I'm not sure that 100% of that bat was put behind that swing, as it almost sent that back. But decent fly out there, and not too much for Ray Hilbrick to handle.
Matusak, so far so good. I was impressed with him, Noel, on May the 27th when we saw him against the Oilmen. Here's a strike. Thought he was so crucial in that game because the starting pitcher, Zaragoza, had walked 6 and allowed 7 earned runs in 2 innings that night. And then the first guy out of the bullpen was Matusak. Here's the 0-1. A check swing. This is low. Did he go around? Yes, says Mike Clay. And the count is 0-2. Boy, Oilman batter Denty not getting the benefit of the doubt there as he's ruled to have gone too far. But I thought in that game where the Oilmen had the Corndogs on the ropes early, here's the 2-strike pitch. It's high and outside for a ball. And the Corndogs eventually rally and win 12-11. For him to come in, the first guy out of the pen, and throw 2 scoreless innings was very crucial.
Oh, yeah, and that was the first time for him.
2-1 here is fisted to the left side. Racing into field, it is Jones. His throw to first is going to be not in time. This throw pulled the runner off the bag, and they'll go with E5 here, allowing Denty to reach. Not a totally routine play, but a good throw probably gets him there as the throw pulls him off the first base bag. And now Phillips will stand in next with 2 outs and a runner at first. Here's the pitch taken high for a ball, and the count 1-0.
Yeah, and that's something that I was interested in seeing how it plays out when I saw the Corndogs
And here's a wild pickoff throw to first, and advancing to second is going to be Denty and holding there. So that'll be an error. So a few defensive miscues here. As now the Oilmen a man in scoring position all of a sudden with 2 outs in the second.
Yeah, from Matusak, got to put him away here with 2 outs up. But Hayden Madelich over at first base, this he not usually a position that he's over in, and already that seems to be making just a little bit of a difference here.
Here's the 1-0. This is swung on and lifted in the air. Terry, the center fielder, camps underneath it, and he's going to pull it down to retire the side. No runs, no hits, and 1 left for the Oilmen in the second. On to the third in the scoreless tie on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
First time in 30 years, Coors Light has an ad in the big game.
Actually, this is a Miller Lite commercial. Mountain Cold Refreshment. It's Miller time. Great taste. Less filling. Cold as the Rockies. Coors commercial. Miller commercial.
Actually, it's a Blue Moon commercial.
Don't let pain knock you out of the ring. Our hand, wrist, and elbow experts are pioneers worldwide. You need us in your corner. Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Make an appointment today.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Did you know?
They decorate over 210,000 cakes a year.
Did you know?
Their butcher will cut your meat your way.
Did you know?
They have trained floral designers in store.
Did you know?
They will make your wedding cake.
Did you know?
They have a variety of deli bakeable entrees.
Did you know?
Their online app has coupons and so much more. Who does that?
Strachan Van Til. Now you know.
Oilmen Baseball tonight is sponsored by Ivy Tech. All of their programs are designed to lead you toward a great career. That's just one reason 92% of their alumni would choose Ivy Tech again. Find the program meant for advancing you toward your career quickly and affordably at Ivy Tech, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. 2 innings have come and gone, and so far the pitching. Knoll has been the highlight of the day on both sides. Locks and Matusak have both looked sharp in the early going.
Yeah, and it's especially impressive that both of these guys are getting their first start of the year, and they're pitching so well. We'll see if they can keep that up.
Here comes the first pitch. It's taken for a strike, and the count no balls and 1 strike on the leadoff man in the inning, Ethan Nielsen. Hitting .474, and he's the 9-man in the order for Justin Heisman's lineup. 0-1 the count from Brandon Locks. This pitch is swung on and lifted in the air in foul territory. Racing over is the catcher, and running out of room is Scott as this bounces up into the higher portion of the stands and over the stands, perhaps. And the count is 0-2.
I think everybody was a little surprised there that one was able to clear the net. Look out below, everybody in the stands.
It deflected off the railing on the side closest to the fans of that net and then bounced way up into the air from there. The 0-2 is low for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't mind that pitch there on the 0-2 count from Locks Nielsen. Not necessarily the easiest guy to strike out, but if you're going to give him something to chase, definitely keep it low.
1-2 on Nielsen. Here's the wind and the fire from Brandon Locks. It's low for a ball. We even out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Told you Locks has been in this league for a number of years. He dates back to 2019 when he pitched with the Oilmen, 18 1/3 innings, .442 his ERA in 2019, struck out 15 and walked 13. Then the next year he popped up with the MCL Minutemen for 2 innings of work. Here's the 2-2. Taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking is Nielsen. That's now the 5th strikeout of the day for Locks, and 4 have been looking strikeouts, including this one of Nielsen.
Yeah, and manager Justin Heisman not necessarily happy with a lot of these calls. They're saying that Scott was doing a little bit of framing there on that pitch, but It's been pretty consistent both sides of the ball, I would say. So we'll see.
Yeah, Justin Heisman barking at the home plate umpire, Ken Davidson, that he's falling for the frame jobs of the catcher, Scott. Kudos to Scott. He has framed it well tonight. This is outside for a ball, and the count is 1-0. Hall, the leadoff man, struck out his first time. Here comes the 1-0 on the way. It's taken high for a ball, but anyway, Brandon Locks, 2020 with the Minutemen. He pitched 2 innings total over 2 different outings. One was against the Oilmen. He allowed 8 runs, walking 8 in those outings. That was the COVID year. It was an unusual season. A lot of people had not pitched, and nobody had really pitched in a long, long time in a game situation prior to us cranking up our season on July the 4th of 2020. 3-0 the count here. Here's the 3-0 to Hall. It's taken on the outside corner for a strike, and the count 3-1. Hall had shoveled the bat aside. He's going to need that as he'll have to take his spot in the batter's box once again.
And that's one of those instances for Hall there. Plenty of guys like to exaggerate the walk over to first when they think a ball 4 is called, but to throw the bat like that, that's something else.
Here's the 3-1. This is swung on and sent to center. On his horse is Baker to get underneath this one. He makes the catch. Not a lot of center fielders in this league make that catch, but Baker makes it look routine as he runs it down just shy of the track in center for the second out of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, Baker stayed calm, composed, never looked like he wasn't capable of making that play.
Now 2 outs and nobody on for Terry. That was one of 2 well-hit balls today for the Corndogs. The other one being the double off the left, that one hopped the left field fence off the bat of Shane Jones as Gavin Terry stands in. He takes low and in for ball 1. Locks then came back to the Oilmen in 2021, when he worked 17 innings, 7 games, 3 starts, 19 walks, struck out 15, a 5.82 ERA for Kevin Tyrrell's team. This is high for a ball. His initial team, was Kevin Tyrrell's team in 2019. 2021 team was under TJ Merrick. 2 balls and no strikes. The count on Terry. Here comes Locks' 2-0. This is off the plate away. His older brother, Tyler, started for the Oilmen last night and pitched 3 innings in the blowout victory over the Miracle, a game the Oilmen eventually won by a 15-5 final. Here comes the 3-0. This is outside for ball 4. 4-pitch walk here. It's the second walk of the day issued by Locks, and he's been in the zone for the most part here today, but on that one he walked Terry on 4 pitches.
Yeah, and now that Hall at bat is looming over the Corndogs' head there. They thought that they were able to garner ball 4 on that, and instead that puts another out up, and now instead of runners on first and second with 1 out, you've got 1 on first with 2 outs. But Ray Hilbrick up, anything's possible.
Here's a pickoff throw to first time. Certainly they thought that outside Justin Heisman was barking at the home plate umpire. In about advancing to second safely is Terry, leaping up out of his catcher's stance with Scott. He had to leap up in the air to try to corral it. He did have it hit off his glove, but it is a wild pitch. This was not a routine stop for the catcher as Locks delivered it way high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes on the always dangerous Ray Hilbrick, and that's a big play because now a base hit would score the game's first run if the base hit reaches the outfield. There's the 1-0. It's taken for a strike, and the count 1-1. No score. We are in the 3rd. Each team with 1 hit. 2 Corndog miscues defensively. Here's the long set from Brandon Locks. And now time called by the batter, Hilbrick.
Yeah, Locks did almost a double take over at Terry there on second. Terry not scared to take a huge lead. He had plenty of stolen bases for the Corndogs last season and a really good average at that. And so the Corndogs are so happy to have him in the lineup when they have. Not too many times so far this season, but we'll see if he can work his way back in a couple more.
Here's the 1-1. Runner goes. Pitch high for a ball. Throw to third is going to be in time. Out at third base. Trying to swipe a bag was Terry, and he's gunned down 2-5 on the caught stealing, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, and nobody left for the Corndogs in the third. We played 2.5. The score remains Oilmen nothing, Corndogs nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
The JED TV Sports Network is now the exclusive home to 8 schools. Subscribe today for a full year of sports coverage by using code JEDTV50 at checkout. Visit JEDTV.com for more information.
It's common for back patients to have a lot of questions, but at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, we ask a lot of questions too. We want to know about their jobs, their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who we are. For us, surgery is not the first priority. Finding the least invasive option to give you your life back is.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Hold up, now do what you do. Get loud, go ahead, get loose. Get down to business, tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
Centier Bank proudly supports the Northwest Indiana Oilmen this season. Since 1895, Centier has remained deeply rooted in Northwest Indiana and promises to remain not for sale for generations to come. Go to Centier.com for more information. Member FDIC. It's Centier Bank, a proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. As the Oilmen will have Emmanuel Scott, the catcher, to lead off this inning. And what a job he has done behind the plate so far here tonight. Here he shows bunt and fouls it away. Scott has been tremendous. He has saved a few wild pitches by blocking balls that bounce in there. He has framed the ball masterfully and has helped the pitcher Locks get the benefit of the doubt on a few calls at the plate. And he cut down a runner at third base to end that last half inning on a great throw to get the speedy Gavin Terry, who was trying to swipe third.
Yeah, so far, if you want to talk about a MVP of today's game, Scott is a no-brainer. That throw over to third was a missile sent on a dime. I mean, Terry had no chance on that.
Here's the 1-1 to Scott. This is swung on and lifted in the air. It's a high fly ball. The center fielder, Terry, is underneath it in left center, and he makes the catch for the first out of the third inning.
And even there, Scott got a good piece of it, just got under it a little bit. If you're, a couple millimeters higher, you're sending that one in the gap between left and center.
Again, Matusak making his first start of the year. Both starters making their first starts after 2 relief appearances. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, and a 1-0 record for Matusak. Here's a pitch delivered for a strike. We mentioned the game against the Oilmen, which I thought was so important for him to come in and calm things down. He also pitched against the Panthers on June the 2nd. Here's his 0-1 pitch to Chris Baker, and it's high for a ball, 1 ball, and 1 strike. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. It was unearned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts against the Panthers on June 2. Here comes the 1-1. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. Sliding over is Hall. He's going to throw wildly to first. That's an error on the second baseman. And reaching safely is Baker with 1 away here in the third.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before something happened like that. All season, Hall has been delivering really short throws to first that have been just a little strange looking, bouncing some of them in, hesitating just a little bit. So that's the first one that really does come back to bite him. But that's something he's got to clean up this season.
That's Amir Wright with 1 out and 1 on. Here's the first pitch to Wright. It's low for a ball, and the count 1-0. Each team with 1 hit, and Lake County working around 3 defensive mistakes. An E4 here. They had a wild pickoff throw earlier, and then a wild throw from third on a play where the Oilmen, where they would have had Denty out at first base, and instead he reaches safely. But so far, Matusak has worked around all of it. Here's another pickoff throw, and back to the bag safely again is Baker, who the Corndogs are well aware is a threat to steal a base.
Yeah, Matusak's got to be careful. Already one error to advance a runner today.
And he runs the pitch low for a ball. Throw to second is going to be in time. Stefanovic with a nice throw, and he cuts down Baker 2-4, I believe, at second base for the caught stealing and the second out of the third.
Yeah, and that's got to feel good for Stefanovic there. If my memory serves me correctly, that's the first one he has successfully delivered to second to pick off a runner, and that was a beauty over to Tyler Schultz.
Here's a strike called on Amir Wright, and the count is 2-1. Here's the 2-1. This is high for a ball. It's 3 balls and a strike. Here's the 3-1. Taken for strike 2 call. Now we go full at 3-2.
Yeah, you know, this pitch would have been a really big one here if Baker was able to advance. Now, not so much.
Payoff is swung on and lifted in the air. Shallow left center. Going out is the shortstop, and it's going to get past him for a base hit. It's a single for Wright. It bloops in. Schultz could not get out there and corral this one. It's the second Oilman hit of the day. It comes with 2 down here in the third, and instead of perhaps driving, well, he would have had to hold at second base had there been 1 out, had he successfully stolen second. But instead of a big-time threat, the Oilmen have just 1 on with 2 down.
And that's one of those instances where nobody really was 100% capable of making that play. That was just hitting to no man's land.
Here's a swing and a miss by Comia. Matusak attends Heidenberg, a native of Crown Point. Was part of the Bulldogs team that won the 2019 Duneland Athletic Conference Championship. The 0-1 grounded to the left side. This is scooped up by Jones. His toss across the diamond is in time, and the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Oilmen in that inning. 3 innings have come and gone. A scoreless tie on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til to go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
The Jed TV app is available on your smartphone and streaming devices. If you downloaded the WJOB Network app, then you're good to go. The same app with a new name. If not, head to the App Store on your phone or streaming device. And right now, you'll be able to watch Jed in the Region Rush Hour, and all PNW and high school sports right in the palm of your hand or in the comfort of your own living room. That's the Jed TV app, available on all streaming devices.
Back at Oil City Stadium, 3 innings have come and gone. No scoring on either side. The Oilmen and the Corndogs are scoreless here. And it's despite both teams having pretty strong lineups in there. The Oilmen, Adam Enright making it no secret, he was going to try to plan for his A lineup, maybe play some of the other guys that you want to get playing time for in some of the other games, and go with your A lineup here against the Lake County Corndogs, a team that is atop the Northern League. Here comes Locks into his motion, and the pitch on the way, swinging a grounder along first, foul. So pretty good lineup out there, but and really the same for the Corndogs. But both pitchers have dealt with it nicely so far.
Yeah, other than that first inning, both teams have threatened a little bit putting runners on, but really just haven't been able to capitalize, whether it be off of some errors, some base running mistakes. We saw that on both sides of the ball so far today.
Here comes the set and the 0-1. Swing and a miss, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes on Hilbrick.
Both Scott and Stevanovic already with 1 pickoff today apiece, and both throws were just beauties.
Here comes the 0-2. Taken high for a ball, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, those have been big plays in the game, and frankly, a lot of times in this league, catchers get run like crazy on, and teams are successful on a vast majority of their stolen base attempts. The 1-2 is low and inside, no swing, according to Mike Clay, the first base umpire, and also the umpire assigner, one of the lead umpires in the Northern League. He says no swing in the count 2-2. But anyway, a big difference, seeing both catchers really perform well tonight. Here's the 2-2, swinging a tapper foul. It can be a difference maker for a club if you can control the running game the way both teams have.
Yeah, and especially in the Northern League so early on in the season, it's so easy to run because these catchers and second baseman and shortstop, they don't really have any relationships together. They don't have any chemistries just yet, so you can basically get whatever you want.
2-2 swing and a miss. Out on strikes is Hilbrick, and what a pitch from Brandon Locks.
That's get Hilbrick like that. 2 big swings and misses there on that at-bat, just came in late. Locks right now looking really solid for the Oilmen.
1 out, and Hayden Matalich will step up next. He walked his first time. Here comes the first pitch on the way. It's taken low for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. The Oilmen trying to keep it rolling. They beat Elkhart County by a 15-5 score yesterday. They had a big 9-run 4th inning to really break it open. And here comes the 1-0. Taken for a strike. And when the Oilmen had that big inning, Adam Enright kind of telling us after the game, it makes it less taxing on your pitching. You can allow for some hits and walks and not feel like you have to be perfect and get the bullpen in motion anytime there's a jam. Here's a line drive. This is knocked down by the third baseman, and the throw to first is going to be late. This is a base hit, as having to lay out to knock it down was Anderson, and Matalich reaches safely with an infield single as the Corndogs notch their second hit of the ballgame.
Yeah, honestly, props to Anderson there for even seeing that off the bat, getting his glove in almost the right position there, but it just popped out. And even Matalich was a little surprised that he didn't come down with it, as he barely was even running to first.
Here's the pitch to Stefanovic. It's taken high for a ball, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
That was an error.
1-0 the count. Here's the set from Locks, and the 1-0. Swing and a miss, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike on Stefanovic. 1-1 with 1 out. No score here in the 4th. Locks gets the signs. He's set. Here's the 1-1. This is taken high for a ball, and it's 2-1.
You can see Scott still trying to do his best here to frame for Locks, who some of these pitches has been having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone.
Here's the 2-1. This is low for a ball, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike.
You can see Stevanovic there putting up the stop sign for Matalich over at first, and that's, that catcher experience, and he knows how good of a catcher Scott is behind the plate. It'd be really hard to run on him in anything in the dirt.
Here comes the 3-1. It's outside for ball 4. It's a walk to Stefanovic, and runners are at first and second now with 1 away, and Tyler Schultz will stand in next. As time called here, and the catcher is going to go out and have a word to try to get Locks on track. You have an infield single and a line drive to third and then a walk, and now suddenly the Corndogs are mounting something here in the 4th with first and second and 2 down.
And for Locks here, you're facing off against Tyler Schultz, who 16 strikeouts now on the season. So you got to know the game plan going into this. But for Schultz, he's still looking to have those big moments that he was able to get so many of this past season, especially in the walk-off hit that he delivered in the Oilmen and Lake County Corndogs championship game in the first game of that series. But it was yesterday that Tyler Schultz absolutely roped a ball into center that cleared the bases. 3 RBI double for Schultz that really felt like he was starting to find his rhythm on the season. We'll see if he can replicate that here.
Schultz struck out looking his first time Let's see if Locks can find a way to pitch out of it. And the Corndogs, they're threatening, and they've done that a few times today. Here's a tapper foul behind the plate in the count 0-1. Oilmen trying to break through against this Lake County team. They have not had the better of the matchups between the two teams. 9 straight head-to-head wins for the Corndogs, and the Oilmen have lost 13 of the 16 all-time matchups since the Corndogs were founded a year ago. Here's the 0-1, swinging a line drive and a one-hopper knocked down at second. Now deflects toward the shortstop, and a tag is going to be applied here on a 4-6 fielder's choice. Safe at first is Schultz, and out for the second out of the inning is Stefanovic. Advancing to third safely is Matalich. Comia on the short hop knocked this down, and then Seymour kind of picked it up and stepped on the bag for the putout. And it goes as an unusual fielder's choice, and the runner is now at first and third with 2 down.
Yeah, Stefanovic doing his best there to try to juke out Seymour at short. Ray Hilbrick was actually able to do that in a previous game for the Corndogs. He juked out the tag at third and scored off of it.
This is taken high for a ball, and kind of a smart move by him to slow down and just kind of stop. That prevented any chance of a relay throw to first, and also can create some confusion on what was already a weird play. 1 ball and no strikes on Jones. Big spot with 2 down. Jones swings and lifts this one in the air to right center. They converge, and it'll be the right fielder to make the catch, and the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left for the Corndogs in that inning. We played 3.5. No score. Oilmen and Corndogs in the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Did you know?
They decorate over 210,000 cakes a year.
Did you know?
Their butcher will cut your meat your way.
Did you know?
They have trained floral designers in store.
Did you know?
They will make your wedding cake.
Did you know?
They have a variety of deli bakeable entrees.
Did you know?
Their online app has coupons and so much more. Who does that?
Strachan Van Til. Now you know.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied, and always working to be better.
We played 3.5, no score between the Oilmen and the Lake County Corndogs. And we'll use this time to remind you that Oilmen Baseball is sponsored by our friends at BP Whiting, an energy company with purpose, one that is trusted by society, valued by shareholders, and motivating for everyone who works at BP. A proud partner of the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, BP Whiting. As we hit the 4th inning, 4, 5, and 6 due in this inning. Seymour will lead off the frame. It'll be Matusak to begin the inning. His first pitch is taken for a strike in the count 0-1.
Hey, you mentioned BP, Brandon. I think it provides such an interesting backdrop here in Oil City. You see the flame constantly burning there. Very dramatic in some of these night games.
0-1 is a bouncing ball. The left side navigating the bounce is Jones. His throw to first is going to be in time. A 5-3 put out to get Seymour at first base. Nice play by Jones. He had to hurry with Seymour hustling down the line. He just did get him on a close play at first.
That's a great throw, especially for Jones. Pause just for a second to make sure he gets the transfer just right, and that throw was a beauty. He's making up for his mistake earlier in the game.
I was talking earlier about how Adam and I was saying last night, pitchers can pitch more comfortable when you break it open and you have that big lead. Here's a swing and a miss. It's been the opposite tonight, and yet the pitchers have still been so impressive, even knowing that neither one has any room for error with all zeros on the board for both teams. Here comes the 0-1 to O'Connor. He takes high for ball 1, 1-1. Connor struck out his first time. 1-1, 1 out. Here's the next pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play. Tyler Locks pitched 3+ last night. And started to run out of gas a little bit after he was really sharp early, but Oilmen are starting to stretch guys out a little more. Here's the 1-2. Taken for a ball. Missed just high. A little late breaking, and the count 2-2.
Yeah, Matusak loves to go to that pitch on a 2-strike count. And that was one thing I was, thinking before Matusak took the mound tonight was he induces so many swings and misses to be a starter in this league.
This is high again, 3-2.
Can he get enough pitches in there without enough pitches to be strikes without the swings of the bats? And so far today, it hasn't looked like that's been a problem for him.
3-2 on O'Connor. Payoff pitch upcoming with one away in the inning. Here comes the 3-2. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. This is fielded by Jones. The third baseman's throw to first is in time. Back-to-back 5-3 putouts to begin this fourth. And Logan Anderson will bat with 2 outs and the base is clear.
Some pretty friendly bounces over there for Shane Jones, especially on that one. There was a ball earlier hit right into the glove of Seymour for the Oilmen. Looked like there was enough spin put on the ball to just send it right in there. And so, when you got a great field here, you don't have to worry about misplays in the infield like that.
Anderson will stand in with 2 outs and the base is clear. First pitch to him is high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Night falling, and you heard Noel allude to the oil refinery backdrop that'll become even more glowing here in 30 minutes or so as night fully falls. Here's a swing and a miss, the count 1-1. Oilmen at 3-3 on the year, but they're 0-3 against these Corndogs and 3-0 against everyone else. Here's the 1-1. Low for a ball. Did he go? Nope. And the count 2-1. And Lake County at 9-1. And by some miracle, the Miracle found a way to beat them. The only team that has done so, as Elkhart County was a 6-3 winner back on May the 31st against these Corndogs. Here comes the 2-1. Swinging a bouncing ball toward third. All 3 plays going to Jones. His throw to first is in time. It's an inning of Jones to Matalich with 3 consecutive 5-3 putouts. The Oilmen go down in order in the fourth. 4 innings have come and gone. Oilmen nothing, Corndogs nothing. It'll be Noel and Zach when we come back on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Common for back patients to have a lot of questions, but at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, we ask a lot of questions too. We want to know about their jobs, their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who we are. For us, surgery is not the first priority. Finding the least invasive option to give you your life back is.
For the first time in 30 years, Coors Light has an ad in the big game.
Actually, this is a Miller Lite commercial. Mountain Cold Refreshment. It's Miller time. Great taste. Less filling. Cold as the Rockies. Coors commercial. Miller commercial.
It's a Blue Moon commercial.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions. And the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back in action here in Oil City, Lake County Corndogs taking on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. A scoreless ball game here in the top of the 5th. Both teams' pitching has been immaculate. Zach, what have you seen so far on the mound that has allowed for this success?
Well, we've seen this series, and this is the complete opposite in games that we've seen between the last 3 games. But for the Corndogs, Matusak has been great, and as you've talked about before, he's a closer, first start, and his command's been fantastic. He's going deep. He's got a high pitch count and looks great, and Locks, as usual, is looking fantastic. The Corndogs has threatened a couple times, but hasn't been able to do anything with it.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, Zach, Matusak, the control has really been there tonight, and sometimes in his appearances closing games, that's not always necessarily been the case. So, you wonder if maybe he's pulling back just a little bit on the velocity to make up for getting those balls in where he wants them to, and if that's the case, it's paying off for him. Adam Walters watches one catch just outside of the strike zone. Locks still working that strike zone all over the place, but he has found a lot of success on the outside of the strike zone on these right-handed batters. This time, Walters laces it into left field. Going all the way back is O'Connor. Has to adjust just a bit, but there's an easy out for the Oilmen on the F7.
Yeah, O'Connor kind of drifted towards that ball. Didn't quite get in the right spot right away, but well hit ball out left. Not enough to get quite to the wall, but still a great hit and good play to keep tracking the ball because that's tough. It might be swirly up there with the wind.
Yeah, and, it's an interesting situation. You got the lights on already here at Oil City as first pitch delivered to Nielsen is in for a strike. That time Scott did a really good job of bringing it up from low. But like you said, Zach, that ball can be doing anything up there with the wind going on. This one chopped inside by Nielsen, coming underneath it from right is right, and he grabs the second out of the inning. Quick one here for the Corndogs, 2 up, 2 down. But that brings the leadoff hitter up, Kevin Hall.
Yeah, we're talking about Scott beyond the plate. He's looked fantastic. He's used his head, he's used his body to block everything, and as well as framing the ball very well. And Locks has been able to get a couple calls that have been questionable today.
Always good to back up your pitcher as a catcher. First pitch delivered to Hall. He shows bunt and fouls it off to the left.
It was more of a protective bunt, not just to get hit.
It looked like he was jumping out of the way of that one.
That's fantastic hand-eye coordination right there.
Yeah, and also, on that, you're trying to protect your fingers on there, too. Make sure that you don't break any. 0-1. Locks has 2 away here already. And that one just a bit too low. Kevin Hall came in. His first game of the season was against the Elkhart County Miracle, and obviously that was a loss for the Corndogs. Here's the 1-1. Hall lines this one right over towards Comia at second, who fumbles it a bit. And Hall is going to be safe at first on that one. That's going to go down as an E4 there. Probably a play that Comia could have made over at second.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of handcuffed him. Didn't attack it as quickly as he wanted to, and kind of let it hit himself in the chest. But one of the things, he tried to stick with it, but ended up having an errant throw with it as well, and a little bit of a shaking up on the play.
Yeah, that's one of those instances. They always say, play the ball, don't let the ball play you. And in that instance, I think Comia held off just a little bit too much and took a bounce that he wasn't necessarily expecting, and it comes back to bite him. So now with 2 outs here, Corndogs have a runner on first, no doubt, with the speedster in Hall. He's going to be doing everything he can to get over in scoring position. And for Gavin Terry, a reliable bat for the Corndogs, looking to drive him in. And there goes Hall, wasting no time. This throw isn't quite exactly on line, and Hall is in safe. Even on that throw, that was a bang-bang play over at second.
Yeah, Hall's got some wheels on him, but Scott just a little bit on the outside of the bag and unable to be as accurate, but still a strike down to second.
And on that one, Seymour, as here's the 1-0. This one's chopped off foul by Terry. Seymour, to really make that play, would have had to go completely backhand off the scoop and then turn to grab Hall, maybe by the cleats on that. But Hall has a really good slide that he uses to get in. Doesn't really keep his feet up in the air. So now a runner in scoring position. 1-1 count here for Terry. Terry watches one go low, and that's a good take there on a pitch that has been pretty consistently being called a ball tonight. Hall taking a pretty significant lead at second, and he's got Seymour right behind him, who's ready to jump in potentially. He backs off. 2-1. Terry fouls this one once again off the glove of Scott, and he's got to take a second on that. That cannot feel good.
Yeah, that may have rung him in the face actually a little bit, and that's why they wear those masks. I do love the old school mask, though. I feel like that should be a well-known, normal thing, other than like those hockey goalie-looking masks.
Yeah.
They're a little more bulkier.
It all comes down to preference for them, and really, especially being able to toss it off if you need to. What feels comfortable, what you grow up with. Here's going to see a throw over to second. And it's not in time, but just barely. A really good job there from Locks to disguise that motion there. but Hall was ready for it.
Those are one of the toughest pickoff moves, is completely doing a 180, actually a 270 in order to make a pickoff.
And that one's inside. Hall almost fools everybody there as Scott flinches just a bit, but once again, keeping it in front of him, keeping Hall away from third. Scott is just so reliable there, and honestly, you can take having a catcher that's not necessarily the hottest bat for you, but really if he goes out there and plays good defense, that is all you need. Terry lines this one into left center. Going back is Baker. It's going to drop. Hall comes in. The Corndogs strike first here in the top of the fifth, and with 2 outs on the board and a full count, Terry makes it count.
That's just fantastic hitting right there. Sees an outside high pitch and takes it to left center field, driving in the first run of the game. And it's very strange to see a 1-0 game between these two in the top of the fifth. Usually you see a couple more.
No, definitely. I mean, the Corndogs almost averaging a double-digit runs per game on the season. So with that, we'll see a quick mound visit here for the Oilmen. Looks like we are going to see a pitching change here. So we're going to take a quick break and be back with some more information for you on the new thrower on the mound. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Northwest Indiana Oilmen Baseball on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Now on the mound for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, Tyler Nemtuda. He's appeared one time and had one start so far this season for the Oilmen. Pitched 2 innings for them, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. Had 2 walks and 5 strikeouts, a 4.5 ERA. But those 5 strikeouts in 2 innings, that is really impressive for Nemtuda there.
Yeah, it is, and that just shows one of the things for the Northern League. You like to see a lot of pitchers pitch to contact, but when you see these types of pitchers that it's hard to put the bat on the ball, it's fun to watch, especially if you're a defensive-minded fan. I know I love pitching. I grew up pitching, and one of the things, if someone can't hit my curveball, that's where I'm going to go to every single time.
Yeah, and I think that's the case tonight for Matusak. I mean, he loves to go with that 12-6 curve, and so far he's putting up zeros on the board, so he's going to keep going to it. And, I think it's also interesting to look on the different levels of baseball as hitting and pitching, take kind of precedence over each other and which is more dominant in the league at a time. And so far this season, I can't make a definitive statement over which is better so far, but I know last season the pitching was just incredible in the Northern League.
Yep, it's still early, though. We'll have time to really figure it out.
Hilbrick swings right through that one. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Corndogs struck first off of a way back double by Gavin Terry. He's standing on second now in scoring position for the Corndogs. Ray Hilbrick now batting. He's got a 1-0-1 count, that is. Potentially looking to drive in another one for the Corndogs. And a second one. He swings right through. Hilbrick swinging for the fences 2 in a row.
And you see, this is a type of game where 2-out hits and 2-out RBIs are what's going to win you the game, because you are not having many opportunities today for either the Oilmen or the Corndogs.
0-2. That one's well away, but Scott just continuing to be a steel curtain back there.
And it's funny, every single time it's a little bit of a wild pitch, he keeps everything in front of him. It's not like it's hopping 5 feet to his left. It literally is dropping right below his feet, and he's able to pick it up and be aware of where the runners are going.
1-2 for Hilbrick, 2 outs. Runner in scoring position. He fires, and Hilbrick fouls this one straight back to the left. And yeah, that's not necessarily something that can always be taught. You just really have to have a feel for these pitches coming in, especially from guys, they're rotating. There's a lot of different pitchers on this roster. You're not going to have every guy's pitches memorized. So for Scott to be able to do that is just phenomenal. Big lead for Terry at second. The 1-2 is sent sky high by Hilbrick. Coming underneath it is Baker instead. It'll be O'Connor to get the third out of the inning, but not before the Corndogs tack on one. It's a 1-0 ball game as we head to the bottom of the fifth. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Oilman Baseball on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til to go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
The Jed TV app is available on your smartphone and streaming devices. If you downloaded the WGLB Network app, then you're good to go. The same app with a new name. If not, head to the App Store on your phone or streaming device. And right now, you'll be able to watch Jed in the Region Rush Hour, and all PNW and high school sports right in the palm of your hand or in the comfort of your own living room. That's the Jed TV app, available on all streaming devices.
Taking the mound now for the Corndogs, Zach Bierling, number 29. Bierling, temporary player for the Corndogs this previous season, but so far he's been a reliable guy coming out of the bullpen for the Corndogs. In the few games that he's appeared in, 3 of those, he's pitched 4.1 innings, given up 6 runs, though, so this will be an opportunity for Bierling to deflate that ERA on the season of 12.46. And, he's got a big bar to live up to as Dylan Matusak put up 4 goose eggs here, and now we head into the bottom of the fifth. We'll see if the Oilmen can answer off of that RBI double from Gavin Terry in the top.
Yeah, it's great for Bierling to come in with some sort of lead, but a 1-0, it can still feel a little bit shaky for a pitcher because once you get 1 or 2 runners on, then it starts to get a little odd for him. So we'll see if he has enough confidence.
First pitch delivered, and that one's well inside to Denty. Has to kind of get out of the way of that one. This one is absolutely roped. It'll be fair. Wasting no time and heading over to second is Denty. And the throw is not going to be there in time. Stand-up double to lead things off here for the Oilmen in the bottom of the fifth.
Yeah, Denty just rips that right down the line, and we've known he's been able to be a great hitter and a power hitter as well. We know his very first at-bat as an Oilman was a home run against these Corndogs back during the series, Game 2. So it's good to see him start off with a leadoff double. That's huge for the Oilmen.
Yeah, he pulled that one about as far as you can without it going foul. So a fresh at-bat here, and that one makes contact. So Phillips heads over to first, and just like that, runners on first and second for the Oilmen here. No outs in the bottom of the fifth. They are threatening, and I was going to take a look. So far this season, Zach Bierling, can't tell so far, but I was going to say after that first at-bat for Bierling, he was looking to struggle just a little bit with control there, and right there it comes back to bite him. But that brings up Scott, Mr. Do-It-All behind the plate for the Oilmen. He gets a tiny piece of that one, fouls it, and looks like it makes contact with Stevanovic, who's got to take a second.
Scott feels bad for him as well, knowing he plays that position. That one's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah, that's catcher-to-catcher respect right there, and you see plenty of it here in the Northern League. Runners on first and second for the Oilmen, no outs, 0-1 count here. Bierling fires that one too high. Bierling, a guy who likes to put a decent amount of movement on his pitches, but so far tonight doesn't look like he's been able to get that just right. You know, it can take some time, but here you're only up by 1. That one well outside. 2-1 count. You at least, have to start making your pitches look a little bit more competitive. You've already got 2 runners threatening for the Oilmen. Bierling fires the 2-1. That one low once again, so threatening to load up the bases here. And Scott will do it if he needs to. He'll be happy to get a walk here.
Yeah, Bierling just needs to take a deep breath and give him something possibly to put in play, get a double play.
Called strike 2 there. Scott was already taking a few steps over towards first. And we've seen that a couple times today. This is a really, really a big pitch already for Bierling in his appearance. Payoff. Lined into left and just foul. Wow, Scott put everything he had on that ball. Tattooed it to left, but it just pulled a little bit.
Just a tad too early, and if Scott was able to drive in a run or 2, possibly if that was able to get down to the corner, we'd know who would be the MVP of the game if the Oilmen were to end up ahead against the Corndogs, especially losing 9 straight.
Payoff once again, that one up at the eyes of Scott, so makes up for it there as he draws a walk and loads up the bases for the Oilmen, and this is not good news for the Corndogs as they are back up to the top of their order. The Oilmen, that is Chris Baker.
For Bierling, you just have to settle in now. Obviously, you're not in a great position where you thought you were coming in a 1-0 lead, but now with the bases loaded, you have to find something in order to get a ground ball and get a double play.
And there's a breaking ball that breaks a little bit too much. Low for ball 1. And for the first time today, we see that movement for Bierling actually come into play. But Baker does a good job laying off, and for good reason. There's another one, doesn't break enough. And it's frustrating for Bierling, because you're trying to incorporate the pitches that you want to throw, make it your game, but they're not getting called. 2-0. That one's in the dirt, into the glove of Stevanovic. He does a good job keeping that one in front of him there. But a 3-0 here, potentially a four-pitch walk here, and that would tie the ball game up at 1 apiece. Bierling, big hole to dig himself out of. Big swing and miss from Baker there. He had the green light, and he was looking to lace that one for a potential grand slam there.
But that's exactly what you want to see in Bierling. See a huge swing and miss, get a little bit of a confidence booster for yourself.
3-1. Another one, Bierling. Gets him with the off-speed pitch there, and Baker was well early on that one.
Yeah, I think Baker was looking fastball, and all of a sudden here comes a changeup, 10 miles an hour slower. Great pitch from Bierling.
3-2. This one's put into play. Potential double for the Corndogs here. Schultz gets one, but doesn't make the throw over to first, so the Oilmen tie that one up here.
That was exactly what Bierling wanted to see, a potential double play ball, but with Baker's speed, it's nearly impossible, especially with a little bit of a dribbler. It wasn't as hard hit as Bierling wanted it to be, but Baker with a huge RBI for the Oilmen to tie it up here in the 5th.
So that brings up Wright. He watches one go low for ball 1. Runners on the corner now for the Oilmen. It's a 1-1 ball game with 1 out up. Bierling grabbing that first much-needed out there, but not before tying this ball game up. Wright watches one go past. Called strike 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Baker try to steal second and put 2 ducks on the pond and threaten a little more, especially how Bierling's been pitching.
Quick pickoff move there and an early called safe. That one was pretty close, but Mike Clay was confident in it even after the really good pickoff move from Bierling.
It was very close, and I think Baker next time will end up sliding back into first on that one.
1-1. There goes Baker to second, and there's not going to be a throw over. He got a perfect jump, and Stevanovic didn't even think about it.
Yep, just like I said, in perfect timing. Baker literally took one pitch to time up Bierling, and as you said, fantastic jump, and was there without even an effort to get it down to second.
2-1. Bierling just leaves it up high once again, and, you know, these are a lot of pitches that you're really wanting guys to chase on, but right now the Oilmen have absolutely no reason to do that. So you got to change up your approach here. On a 3-1 count, runners on second and third. This one sent into center. Gavin Terry coming in. Tagging up from third, the Oilmen take the lead here, 2-1. And that's a big play there on the sacrifice fly from Wright.
And Wright literally barely was in the exact, placed that ball in the exact spot where the sacrifice fly was going to happen. If it was probably 10 feet shorter, there possibly could have been a play at the plate. But fantastic job from Terry not to allow Baker to get to third and make it a little bit harder for the Oilmen to extend their lead.
There's one fouled straight back for the Oilmen. Chris Baker now, the lone Oilman on the bases at second, still in scoring position. So the Oilmen are threatening here with Jaden Comia up to bat. It's an 0-1 count.
Yeah, with Baker's speed, anything in the outfield, any hit, base hit, could possibly score him.
That one's outside. 2 outs now for the Corndogs. And Bierling now, you know, looking to come in and have a bounce-back game, has not been able to work himself out of trouble. There's a breaking ball that he loses control of behind the head of Comia there. And you can potentially hear fans saying, wear it there. I don't think there's many batters who would want to wear that one.
Especially off the helmet. You know, it still rings the noggin a little bit, even though, you know, there's safety protocols now. But
2-1 with 2 outs, runner on second. There's one chopped foul. And, you know, obviously Bierling did not mean to throw that pitch like that, but you wonder, you know, there's a little bit of strategy there. You're chasing for the bat behind the head of the batter. If it makes contact, that's a foul ball and a strike.
We saw that yesterday with Seymour while he was at the plate. Actually, he tried to duck down, foul ball, and it ended up being 1-2.
It's about as unlucky as it gets for a hitter.
Yes, it does.
The 2-2 is laced towards Jones, makes a great scoop to get it, and delivers a hopper over to first. And they got him.
Wow.
Late call there from Mike Clay.
I believe he actually caught it in between his elbow and his arm.
And had to think about that one, but that will end the inning here in the bottom of the 5th, but not before the Oilmen grab 2 to make it a 2-1 ball game. We'll head to the top of the 6th, and back with us will be Brandon Vickery. You're listening to Northwest Indiana Oilmen on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
The JED TV Sports Network is now the exclusive home to 8 schools. Subscribe today for a full year of sports coverage by using code JEDTV50 at checkout. Visit JEDTV.com for more information.
It's common for back patients to have a lot of questions, but at Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, we ask a lot of questions too. We want to know about their jobs, their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who we are. For us, surgery is not the first priority. Finding the least invasive option to give you your life back is.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Hold up, now do what you do. Get loud, go ahead, get loose. Get down to business, tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
Back with Noel Ferry, Brandon Vickery back with you. Zach Carr is working alongside. We've got the whole crew, Charlie Harris, Jackson Baker. They are with us as well, John Janiga. As we reach the 6th inning, it's 2-1 in favor of the Oilmen. An interesting 5th inning. There was no scoring in the 4th inning, the 4 innings I described for you, but the Corndogs with 1 in the top of the 5th on an RBI double by Gavin Terry. And then the Oilmen respond with 2 in the bottom of the inning. RBI fielder's choice bouncer off the bat of Chris Baker, and then a sacrifice fly off the bat of Amir Wright. And the Oilmen have wrestled the lead away from the Corndogs. They lead Lake County by a 2-1 score. The lefty Tyler Nemtuda is back out to continue his day. He got the final out of the 5th inning for the Oilmen. He delivers a first pitch strike to Hayden Matalich.
Yeah, Brandon, as soon as you left, the offense has exploded for both teams.
Here comes the 0-1. This is taken for a strike. And over the years, that's happened quite a bit, but I honestly think there's something to it. It's because by the time I step out in the 5th inning, that's the inning where you're either trying to stretch your starter a little bit and he runs out of steam and then runs start scoring. Here's the 0-1, lifted foul out of play. Or you go to the bullpen and bring in somebody new, and then they may give up runs once you get into that bullpen. So oftentimes that has been an action-packed inning in games when I step out.
Yeah, and I was surprised to see both teams decide to go away from their starters there, especially the Corndogs. I mean, Matusak, the best thing to go with there is most likely a pitch count issue, but he was having a really good game so far.
Here's the 0-2. This is swung on and lifted to right down the line. This is trouble, and it's going to be an extra base hit. It's up against the wall in deep right. It's a 2-bagger for Matalich. He has been on base all 3 times. He's 2 for 2 plus a walk, and here he doubles to lead off the 6th.
Well, I'll tell you what, that has to feel so good for Matalich, because there have just been so many innings, especially yesterday, at least 2 or 3, where he started off the inning for the Corndogs with a super loud first out and just sent it right into the glove of the outfield, and finally he gets one to drop.
Yeah, no doubt. He struggling a little bit at the dish so far in the year, so a big night for him here this evening. Nemtuda now will have to try to work around a leadoff 2-base hit, so he's immediately in a jam in this 6th. Here comes the first pitch high to Rocco Stefanovic, and the count is 1-0. The Oilmen clinging to a 2-1 lead despite being out-hit 4-3. 4th Corndog hit coming a moment ago. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play. The Corndogs have had 3 hits go for extra bases. 3 of the 4 have been doubles here tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike from Nemtuda. And I agree with you, going back to our last discussion, that pitch count played a role in the teams going to the bullpen. These are situations. This is low and in for a ball. It gets away. The throw to third is going to be in time. So this is a 2-5 putout for the first out of the inning. Matalich trying to advance on what would have been a wild pitch, but instead he's 2-5. A plain old putout. Attempt just advance. You out.
Yeah, I get a little bit too wide on that one.
2-1 low and in for the ball. 3 balls and a strike.
And running error the Corndogs today that cost them third base 2 times. I mean, not going to win you games.
Here's the 3-1, swinging a foul back to the screen. The count goes full at 3-2.
I have to ask you, Brandon, it's something we talk about a lot in Lake Corny. In your years here at Oil City, have you seen any
there is some pretty close. Difficult angle would require a bounce. Here's the payoff pitch. It's low and inside for ball 4. Not very likely to get a foul ball up here, and I have not obtained too many souvenirs that have made their way into our booth over these many years, 12 seasons to be exact, here with the Oilmen.
No, it's the same in Lake County. For a ball to make it here, especially over this net, it would need such a specific angle that I just don't think is super probable. Yeah. But, if you can grab it out there, go turn it in for $1.
No question. Here's a pitch swung on and lifted in the air. Foul off to the right and out of play. Count is 0-1. No balls and a strike, 1 out, 2-1 in favor of the Oilmen. A big out on the bases. There have been some big ones tonight. Matalich trying to advance the third a moment ago was cut down by Scott the catcher. This is high for a ball, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Tyler Schultz. But going back to point we started on a couple times, these two managers obviously have some pitch count restrictions from the team's schools, and it's early in the season. You want to be careful with guys' arms. That's what, this was nearly a wild pickoff throw, but it's saved by first baseman Phillips. That's why both starters are out of the game. Matusak, 4 innings, no runs, 2 hits. He struck out 2. He will receive no decision here today. And Locks will receive no decision as well, the way that 5th inning unfolded. Here comes the 1-1, slapped foul right side as the lead flipped once both starters were out of the game. And for the reasoning for no decision for both men, but Locks 4 2/3 innings of 1-run ball, and it was unearned. 3 hits, he walked 3 and struck out 6.
Yeah, both pitchers obviously doing a great job today, but they didn't necessarily do it extra efficiently. Plenty of full counts and long at-bats.
This is swung on and cracked to center on a line. Baker is right there. He snatches this one for the 2nd out of the 6th inning.
Tough break there for Schultz. You know, any more spin on that ball could potentially land in no man's land, but just sends it right into the glove of Baker, who you're not going to see making too many misplays out in center.
Now it's Shane Jones. The Oilmen a 2-1 lead over the Corndogs. We are in the 6th inning. The Corndogs come in with a record of 9-1. And I'll be honest, these two teams played in the Northern League Championship Series a year ago. I think it's going to happen again this season. This is low for a ball. The count 1 ball and no strikes. There's no doubt in my mind these will be the top 2 teams in the regular season standings. And I think that there is a big gap right now between the level of these two teams and the rest of the league. Here comes the 1-0, taken low and in for a ball on the count 2-0. Yeah,
I mean, you know, you see some of these leads that both the Oilmen and the Corndogs have been able to put together over the rest of the competition, and you know, Corndogs had a little bit of a rough streak, had some shaky games here and there, but when they're playing at their A game, same goes with the Oilmen. They're unstoppable.
There's a swing and a miss. The Oilmen have really put together a talented roster, one of their more talented rosters we have seen in a long, long time. And the Corndogs have been a powerhouse from the get-go since their inaugural season. I think everybody else in the league is going to be playing catch-up right now to these teams. This is outside for a ball. The Oilmen are 3-3, but all 3 losses coming to the Corndogs. All 3 games against teams other than the Corndogs have been lopsided victories.
Yeah, and another impressive thing for the Corndogs is, you know, they're doing this without some of their key players from last season returning, especially pitchers overall.
3-1 swung on and lifted in the air. Baker camps underneath this one in deep right center. He goes back on it and makes the catch. He covers a lot of ground out there, and the inning comes to an end. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left for Lake County in that frame. After 5.5, it's the Oilmen 2 and the Corndogs 1 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Did you know?
They decorate over 210,000 cakes a year.
Did you know?
Their butcher will cut your meat your way.
Did you know?
They have trained floral designers in store.
Did you know?
They will make your wedding cake.
Did you know?
They have a variety of deli bakeable entrees.
Did you know?
Their online app has coupons and so much more. Who does that?
Strachan Van Til. Now you know.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here for the bottom of inning number 6. The Oilmen clinging to a 2-1 lead as we take it to the last of the 6th. It was Zach Bierling who took over after Matusak left the ball game. Matusak again 4 shutout innings, and he'll receive no decision. Bierling is back out there for another inning of work. He did yield 2 runs in that 5th, and the Oilmen will try to go back to work against him in this 6th inning as Randy Seymour will lead off with Northwest Indiana, sending up the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in this 6th.
For Bierling, he's got to come together and put something up. It's not necessarily been walks that have killed him, but overall a lack of strikeouts. He's only got 1 on the season.
Here comes the pitch, swung on and lifted in the air, right side, a high pop fly on the infield. Matalich is underneath it, and he gloves it for the first out of the 6th inning. Brendan O'Connor is due next. He's 0 for 2 tonight, which has been a rarity as he's had a good season, hitting .353.
Yeah, some of the best hitters in the Northern League on display here tonight, but especially for the Oilmen, to be able to maintain averages like that is spectacular.
Here comes the first pitch to him. It's taken for a strike and the count 0-1, but I think these teams are going to duke it out all year. I think whenever these two teams face off, it's going to be fun because it's going to be like the World Series. Here comes the 0-1, swing and a miss. It was fooled there, and ahead 0-2 is Bierling. And I think that both managers will plan to try to win these head-to-head matchups. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. It's taken low and outside in terms of how they plan out their lineups and their pitching situation to try to take these games.
Yeah, I think overall we already saw the game of the year so far. Maybe that night might not hold up for the entirety of the season.
1-2 taken for strike 3 call, and that's been called throughout the night, and it's a strike 3 on O'Connor for the second out of the 6th.
Bierling, good recovery there, but that third game of the home opening series for the Corndogs between them and the Oilmen was basically everything you could ask for in a baseball game, other than maybe, completely solid pitching from both sides, but both teams were able to put up zeros on the board when they needed to and in different points throughout the game.
Here's the pitch taken for a strike on Logan Anderson, the count 0-1. What a crazy sequence of games that was where the Corndogs won on opening night 13-9. This is low and outside for a ball. Then it was 7-3 in favor of Lake County in the second game. The real wacky one, the 12-11 10-inning win in which the Oilmen blew a 7-0 lead, their most recent matchup with these Corndogs. Here's the 1-1, swung on and fouled, and that still leaves a bad taste in the mouths of the Oilmen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're coming out guns blazing here, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Bierling looks like he's settled in at least a little bit here now, so this is where the real games begin down the stretch.
Here comes the 1-2, low and outside for a ball. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Anderson. Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark, always a hit. A few fans indulging. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count, 2 outs in the inning. Here comes the 2-2 to Anderson. He smokes this one, but well foul, and it deflects off the bullpen railing and onto the grassy berm area where a fan runs it down. And it's a broken bat as well. Usually
you see a couple kids playing out there in that grassy area. Luckily, that one, no one was in that area. But a broken bat now, you got to add one to the fire pit now.
And bonfire doesn't sound too bad at the moment with temperatures a little nippy here again this evening.
Yeah, and you wonder how much of a difference that makes, especially today and yesterday. For pitchers, your fingers start to maybe tense up a little bit. Everybody's potentially sitting out there shaking. You try to stay moving out there, at least when you're out on defense, but it can definitely play a factor.
Here's the 2-2. This is swung on and sent to left. Well hit. The question is, will it stay fair? It's down the line. It's fair. It's a fair ball down the left field line for a home run off the bat of Anderson. It just stayed fair down the left field line, and the Oilmen lead by a score of 3-1. He absolutely crushed it to left. The only question was, would it stay fair? It was even with the foul pole up above the foul pole off the protective netting. It was a good call by Ken Davidson. It is fair, and it is a solo home run for Logan Anderson.
Brandon, we were discussing earlier before the game here in Oil City whether or not someone has ever cleared that brick monster out there in left field, and that one easily would have done that. It did. It hit the fence behind it. I'm not 100% sure about the distance on that one, what it could have been, but it's up there.
Yeah, we've had quite a few that have cleared it, but there are not too many that would have traveled that far if it weren't for the protective netting. Here's a strike called in the count 0-1. When we first started having Oilman games here, there was no protective netting above the scoreboard. Here comes the 0-1 taken for a strike. At one time, I think it was when they hosted the Horizon League baseball tournament. They made some improvements as the Horizon League tournament was hosted here back in about 2015 or 16. I think it was 15. This is off the plate for a ball, 1-2. And they added the protective netting to protect some of the houses that are beyond the left field fence and protect the parking area. And good thing they did for that. Here's a 1-2 that's flared to left. Coming in to make the catch is Walters, and the inning ends. But not before damage done. No runs, 1 hit. I'm sorry, 1 run, 1 hit. The homer by Anderson, and nobody left on base. We have played 6. It's the Oilmen 3 and Corndogs 1 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hold up, now do what you do. Get loud, go ahead, get loose. Get down to business, tell everyone nothing's off limits. You can have anything you want.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
We take it to inning number 7, 3-1 in favor of the Oilmen as the Corndogs will send up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Now we hit the latter third of the game as Nemtuda takes the rubber once more. His wind and first pitch fire here is sent to center. That's going to be a base hit. A clean single off the bat of Walters to begin this 7th inning. Going back to the last half inning, Noel, the Oilmen extend the lead on a ball that was really crushed by Logan Anderson.
Yeah, that, had it not been for that netting, I think that would have been one of the deepest home runs I've seen hit in my 2 years in the Northern League. That one tattooed into left, to say the least.
The Oilman lineup has been impressive. They're entering tonight. They have a .288 team batting average that leads the Northern League. Here's a pitch way upstairs for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Oilman also getting on base at a .440 clip. That leads the league. But as a team, they have a .662 earned run average, so they have not done enough on the mound here in the early going. Nielsen standing in. That has improved drastically the last handful of games. There's a pickoff throw to first. It's in time. Picked off first base is Walters. 1-3 on the pickoff, and that's the first out of the 7th inning. And there have been some outs on the base paths over the course of the ball game, particularly for Lake County.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming. I mean, you were just giving up those base runners. You're getting it done on home plate, but then you're getting lazy on the base paths.
Here's a ground ball, right side diving attempt, knocking it down, and the throw to first is going to be late. It's a base hit. A close play at first. It's an infield single for Nielsen, and the Corndogs replaced that base runner at first base here with 1 down. A valiant effort by the Oilmen infield. Locks ran over to cover, but I'm sorry, I should say Nemtuda ran over to cover, but by the time he did so, the runner Nielsen just did beat the throw.
Yeah, I think that's one of those instances you think you rely a little bit too much on your first baseman there, and Nemtuda hesitated just a bit and got there half a step too late.
Here's the first pitch to Hall. Big, healthy hack and a miss by the leadoff man in the count 0-1. About to hit 9 o'clock on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. Happy to have you with us on AM 1230 WJOB, JED TV, Region Sports, and the Oilman Facebook page. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a high chop right side. This is fielded by Phillips. They'll go to second and get the lead man on a close play. 3-6 on the fielder's choice. Out at second is Nielsen for the second out of the inning. Reaching on the fielder's choice, Hall. Now 2 gone, 1 on, with the Oilmen leading 3-1 in the 7th.
Yeah, really, really smart play there from the Oilmen. You know, it's not necessarily one that always pays off for you, as you don't necessarily know what kind of leadoff the guy on first has, but right there, Oilmen successfully execute that.
It'll be Gavin Terry to stand in next. 2 outs and a runner on first. 3-1 Oilmen, despite being out hit 6-4 here tonight. Here's a pickoff throw to first. Hey, it worked a moment ago. Why not try another one? Back safely this time is Hall after earlier in the inning Walters was picked off.
Yeah, and them Tuda, I mean, that's almost indistinguishable from his windup there, that pickoff move. And you always love to see the creativity lefties get with their pickoff moves.
Here's the pitch taken inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Oilman offense has been, again, a highlight. They've scored 9 runs or more in 5 of their 6 games. They've had 4 straight double-figure run outputs. They're being limited to 3 runs tonight, but the pitching is doing the job here this evening. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's outside for a ball, 2-0. Adam Enright saying last night there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of experience in that lineup. And he said it's a very enjoyable situation when you have a lot of hitters who understand the game, and that's led to their success so far this summer as a collective unit offensively. Here's the 2-0. It's taken for a strike, 2-1. Two outs, runner on first. Phillips doubled and drove in the only Corndog run of the night earlier. Terry, again, his double came in the 5th. He walked in the 3rd and struck out looking in the 1st. Runner goes, pitch outside, throw to second is going to be not in time. It's a stolen base, so stealing second successfully this time was Hall. He had a good jump, and now he's in scoring position here with 2 down.
Yeah, and Hall, you could see there that slide that he gets just so low to the ground, doesn't give the defense any opportunity to get a quick swing back. You got to be fully committed to tagging him out.
Here's the set, and the 3-1 is up here. Goes pitch outside for a ball, throw to third. But a good throw gets him there, but it goes as a steal. Safe at third is Hall. Wipes the base. Works. The Corndogs end up with runners at first and third now. But the move to steal third. Interesting. The mound. Very surprising that he tried to steal third in that situation, down by multiple runs. For third.
Well, to do that, not only just keep in it, where you've had so that would have inning there, completely killed momentum they had. But Hall's confident in his speed, you know, and there it's not done.
Yeah. The plate here, he made a bad throw. A good throw gets them.
TV 50 at
their hobbies, their lifestyle. Because spinal conditions are oftentimes complex and multifaceted, the best solutions take into account work and lifestyle. The spine is at the basis of everything that we do and who
The man on the hook for the loss, Zach Bierling, in relief for the Corndogs. This is fouled out of play, and if Saldana can nail this thing down, he'll get credit for the save here tonight as well. The count, no balls, and 2 strikes on Ethan Nielsen leading off the inning. If the Oilmen can hold on, they will improve to 4 and come back. The